What's up everyone, Thunderbob here, and today I am doing a review for Moss. Moss is an action-adventure puzzle game in virtual reality. It plays a bit like a platforming Zelda game, where you control a small mouse named Quill with your controller, while you physically embody another spirit-like entity known as the Reader, who can manipulate the environment with your virtual hands.
She was not exactly sure what she roused, but she felt no danger from the being silently peering down at her.
It takes a little getting used to both controlling the character with your analog stick while also physically moving objects and the game world simultaneously. But when it clicks, it can be pretty amazing. And these puzzles, while they start out pretty simplistic, they do become much more complex as you progress. I don't typically like sit-down VR experiences, or games not done from the first-person perspective, but Moss really proves to me that there's a place for these kind of games in virtual reality. The entire experience feels like you're sitting in the middle of an elaborate diorama, guiding Quill through what are these huge environments to their small stature. The graphics are phenomenal, and not just for virtual reality. There are small details that you really need to lean into the scene to experience, and then many of the locations made me just stop and stare at the amazing world that had been created. The music and sound effects are equally as effective, and it all comes together in a great package. The controls are good, but they could use a bit more time explaining some mechanics to you, like the stealth and also controlling of enemies by grabbing them. They sort of just expect you to know this, and it ends up leading to a few unnecessary deaths. I played with the Index controllers, and they were matched perfectly and required no setup. The combat starts out quite easy, but later in the game there's a few gauntlet-like encounters and a fight during the Twilight Garden DLC that actually gave me a bit of trouble. There is some strategy to the combat where you can dodge and get behind enemies, and also get them to fire upon each other. And you can also grab the enemies during combat with your hand to kind of take them out of the fight. The story was simplistic, but told well, both in this storybook vignette that happens at the beginning of the game and through the chapters, and also actually in the game world through character interaction and especially environmental storytelling, kind of looking at the backgrounds and interacting with the world around you.
Seemingly oblivious to Quill, he continued.
Fine. I'll open the route. Give them your fancy test. But you're only digging yourself a deeper grave with Root Seer Vader.
I really loved Quill, and high-fiving this virtual mouse after a particularly difficult fight is one of my favorite gaming moments of all time. The only negative I could really find is the short length of the campaign. I beat the entire game, including the optional free DLC, in about 4 hours. It's definitely a quality over quantity experience, and with a base price of $30, some may find it hard to justify. It is often on sale, and I even got this during a Humble Bundle for, $10, including a bunch of other virtual reality games. And I think for that price, it was very, very worth it. Overall, it's just a joy to experience and play that I would highly recommend to anyone, but do understand it's a short experience. This definitely would be in my top 5 VR games of all time right now, rivaling games like Half-Life Alyx and Saints and Sinners in my book. So if you're a VR player looking for something new, definitely check this out.